It's some 13 minutes to the hour 6 p.m. And with 81 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary polls, welcome to your election hub. Now, as the clock ticks closer to the general elections on December 7, political parties are busy crisscrossing the country, engaging voters and selling their messages to them. The NPP's Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and his running mates, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, have in the last 24 hours held campaign activities in the Greater Accra region. And this is coming at a time their biggest rivals have taken time off campaigning to organize a nationwide street protest against the Electoral Commission. A few years ago, however, my guests would have been interrogating these issues and helping situate the conversation better to his cherished listeners. But here he is today at the other side of the console, sitting directly opposite me. So good was he during his time being behind the console that when the NPP assumed the reins of power in 2017, he was immediately appointed as the manager at the office of the chief executive of Cocoa Board. He then rose through the ranks and currently heads the corporate affairs division of Ghana's Cocoa Board. Again, his expertise has come to bear. And when Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh was named running mate, and the party needed a communications specialist, the mantle fell on him to manage the communications of Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh and be his spokesperson. My guest on the campaign trail is the man with the sleeky voice, Fiifi Boafo. Remember that on Facebook we are live on Starr 103.5 FM. You can also send us your WhatsApp messages via 055-288-0216. Again, it's 055-288-0216. This is your campaign trail. Welcome once again. This is your campaign trail on Starr today. And as I indicated, my guest is seated directly opposite me. Fiifi, welcome.
Thank you, Tutuwaa.
Thank you very much for coming. Where is your candidate?
Well, Dr. Prempeh is in Accra today. He got in yesterday for some engagement.
Okay.
And the fact that he's in Accra for some engagement, he took the opportunity to also touch base with some specific constituencies. We are looking at different constituencies. The constituencies we look at a constituency as in, say, Lojokuku or Krowo. But there are sections of our society we've also identified as specific constituencies, like the traders as a constituency, market women as a constituency, employees as constituency, and one critical constituency we have to reach out to is the business enclave, like Abosukai, the Kantamanto, Okanshi, and Co. So we're at Mokola and that enclave to Okanshi yesterday, engaged extensively. Today there are some meetings he's engaging in, and tomorrow we are back on the road. Okay,
how has it been so far?
It's been encouraging. I say encouraging because this is just to sell the message of Dr. Bawumia, the bold solution he has for Ghana.
Okay.
And the basis of selling this message is what is the track record of Dr. Bawumia and the team and the New Patriotic Party, the vehicle that is carrying him. So far, we've been to about 60 constituencies, and where we've been to, you also pick feedback from the people you engage, the traditional authorities, the religious leaders, leading members of the communities, as well as the ordinary people on the streets. One thing that is clear is that these persons feel that government projects and programs have had effect on their lives. The whole essence of government is to develop our people and also our communities. So if these people are telling you that, yes, you've done A, B, C, D, and it has effect on our lives, it's an indication that they have some level of confidence in you, such that what you tell them going into the future, they will believe you, and it will be the basis of them voting for you on the 7th of December, and then allowing you or granting you the opportunity to serve the people. So it's been very, very encouraging.
Okay. This is the first time NAPO is embarking on a nationwide campaign. I mean, with this magnitude. Do you think it has been burdensome for him? Because previously he was used to just campaigning in one constituency.
I have heard this kind of conversation in the media.
Okay.
Yes, it is the first time he's leading a team as in campaigning as a running mate. But then it is also not the first time where he's going out to campaign. Do not forget, in 2012, NAPO was the director of elections of the New Patriotic Party. Obviously, this is something that will take you across the country, organizing training, ensuring that your programs and projects ahead of the elections are ongoing. So he was involved. Beyond that, he was the minister who also championed the free SHS policy, a policy that has had effect on many Ghanaians. During the 2020 elections, as part of the president's campaign team, or the team the president moved with when he was campaigning, was Matthew Opoku Prempeh. He joined since he was the minister who was seeing to the implementation of the free SHS policy. Yes, he was there to tell the story alongside the president who was campaigning as the flag bearer, that this is what we have done in the area of free education. Because bear in mind, in 2008, during the campaign of the MPP, this promise was emerged. It continued in 2012, 2016. So there was a need to go back, account to the people that the mandate you gave us, this is what we've done with the mandate. So yes, he campaigned with the president across the country.
I understand, but you would agree with me that this is in a different context.
I agree, of course.
So then again, has it been burdensome for him?
I wouldn't call it burdensome. It's an opportunity. Every opportunity has its own set of challenges.
Okay.
But I believe that he's rather energized to do so. Energized in the sense that he sees an opportunity to serve in a bigger role, bigger responsibility. So he feels committed to go out there and campaign. If you look at what we've done the last month and more, we start campaigning around 7 a.m. in the morning. We hit the road. And sometimes you will leave after 11:30, and then you come back, you do your reviews. By the time you settle down, it's almost 2 a.m. And the next day by 7 o'clock, you're back on the road. And he feels energized. Yesterday, for example, when we went to Kantamanto, Mokola, Okanshi, and Co., he walked, shook hands, stood there and had conversation with the traders in this enclave for over 3 hours continuously, was engaging before we addressed the people as a group. He feels very motivated in doing so because every day we do about 3 constituencies. And in every constituency, you have about 4, 5, 6, 7 engagements in each constituency. And since he's the lead person in the group, he has to be speaking every constituency you go to. And he feels motivated to do so.
Okay. Fiifi, when I was introducing you, I indicated to my audience that you are in charge of NAPO's communication. How would you assess yourself?
Well, it is not for me to be an examiner. In a class, I am writing an exam.
Okay.
So it is not for me to assess myself.
Okay. But when people say that NAPO has missed the ball in campaigning, what would you say to that?
I think that there are people who... so let me say this. We as media people, we give stories or we tell a story from a certain perspective, a perspective of interest.
Okay.
But what we tell the public is not a full story. We never tell the full story. So you have a gentleman who will be on his feet for 40 minutes. At, say, 8, 9, 10 different times. And someone picks 10 seconds out of the whole conversation. And people believe that that is what he has been preaching out there. That is what some people refer to as media men want the public to see. So I'll give you a specific example. There was a day when someone said, he's talked about some persons who died unfortunately during an administration. Was it necessary? And I said, okay. So Napo was on a platform talking about how Dr. Bawumia's administration would ensure that we are able to promote agribusiness. You, as a media person, did not find it useful to discuss it. He talked about creating employment opportunities. You, as a media person, you did not find it useful to discuss it. He talked about ensuring that cost of living is reduced. You, as a media person, you did not find it useful to discuss it. But you say that why should he talk about something? And that seemed to be the topic for your conversation.
But he talked about it anyway.
So the point, yes. So the point is, to you as a media person, what is your interest? Because what the media promote is what is of interest to the media. So if you do not consider that useful, if you do not consider that valuable, why do you make it a topic for conversation?
Okay, we'll revisit this shortly. But we all paid attention to his unveiling, where he had the opportunity to sell himself to the populace, to the country, to the Ashanti region, his home region. And for the most part of the speech, he just talked about who has done better than who. Was that necessary?
The contest is between the MPP and the NDC. The contest, largely. Of course, there are other people, with all due respect to them. The contest is between the MPP and the NDC. I've heard people who say that, why are you talking about what you've done? Why are you comparing yourself to the NDC? It's a contest between the MPP and the NDC.
Okay, I understand you.
So if you are to give an account, do not forget that the MPP has been in power since 2017. If you do not just oppose it, what is the basis for comparison? Why must people vote for you?
Okay.
They must vote for you because you have something to offer. But beyond that, they must vote for you because the one you are competing with, you have a superior record, and for which reason, given the opportunity, you should be in a position to do better than the one who has a less impressive record.
You don't think that that opportunity was a chance for him to tell Ghanaians what he adds on to the NPP ticket?
Let me say this. There are people who say that it was an opportunity. Yes, indeed, it was an opportunity. But I am very much sure, Tutuwaa, that you knew Napo before that day.
I probably constitute the minority of the people who don't know him.
You are not. I've traveled with him across the country. We've not been everywhere, but most part of our country. Everywhere you go to, you find people who say that, oh, this is the gentleman who implemented the free SHS policy. So they knew that who he is. They know who he is. He is a person, when you give him a mandate, he is a person, when you give him a responsibility, he shall discharge it to your satisfaction. We live in a country where from 2008 to 2016, the free SHS conversation was ongoing. There are several people who told us that it is not possible, it could not be done, it cannot be implemented. MPP wins power, he was given the mandate, and within 9 months, he saw to the implementation of the policy. It's an indication that this is a gentleman, when you give him a job, he will get it done. Recently, we all recall when we had some crisis within the energy sector. There were people who were fearing, dreading that we are going back to the days of Dumso. He was so certain in his mind. So
is it the very one that he asked us to come up with our timetables?
He was so certain in his mind and in the things he had put in place that he shall get that problem solved. Today, are we still complaining about it? No, the problem has been solved. So Napo is defined by the work he's done. That he's a go-getter, he's result-oriented person, he's someone you can be very confident that when I give him a job, he shall discharge it to your satisfaction. So, yes, in political communication, your opponents or there are other people who will seek to define who you are. And I'm very sure that the NDC and the people who do not share in his political ambitions and position will want to find a way or portray him in a certain way. But certainly, it cannot in any way negate the fact that whenever you give Napo an opportunity to serve you, he shall do so and get you results.
Okay, so you'd rather we refer to his works than his speeches, if I understand.
I'm not saying that his speeches are not to be referred to, but I'm also telling you that you cannot pick a comment to define an entire speech unless for you think that, well, all the things he's talked about. So, for example, I was just reading talking about a fund that will help businesses to grow when Dr. Bawumia is given the opportunity. Are we to say that by telling people of Makola there's something wrong with it? Are we to say that Napo telling people in the Ahafo region, in the western region who are farmers, that Dr. Bawumia seeks to promote agribusinesses, create enclaves where, based on the competences or what is available to the people in that locality, an attention shall be made to ensure that your goods do not go bad, but then they are processed. By Napo talking about it, is there something wrong with that? No. But there's an account saying the Ocean Wasano, to mean that all the things he's talked about the entire time is the probably one thing you may have a different opinion. Let me cite a specific one and to demonstrate the point that sometimes how these things are presented, if you're not careful, you might fall for it. He was in Menchia South, and he talked about the fact that if you vote for the NDC in the Ashanti region,
you're a nation wrecker.
Then you're a nation wrecker. I got a lot of people who are sending me messages saying, why is your man saying this? This is so wrong. And I said, what did he say? This was a gentleman who was on stage, and this is what he said. That in the Ashanti region, he actually started by saying that politics is about development. So if you are voting for a political party, you are voting for someone who will come and develop your community. There is a political party in our history that said that the Great Ashanti Project is terrifying. The Great Ashanti Project is terrifying. It did not end there. The same political party told us that even if you paved roads in Ashanti region, the people will not appreciate it. If I tell you, Tutuwaa, today, that no matter what I do for you, you won't appreciate me, do you think that I will do anything for you? Certainly not, because the perception is that no matter what I do for you, you will not appreciate me. There's a track record that the National Health Insurance Authority, when they said they were piloting something called capitation, that is restricting people to just a community. You could not access healthcare beyond that community. It was only piloted in Ashanti region. It did not go beyond the Ashanti region. It stayed in the Ashanti region, and this negatively affected the people of the Ashanti region. He goes on to make the point that these are the persons who have told us that we are ungrateful. We will never appreciate anything from them. If you give them the opportunity, a person who perceives you to be ungrateful will certainly not do anything for you. So, in the interest of the people who live in this region, let us vote for a party that will consider us grateful and do things for us, not those who consider us ungrateful, for which reason they will not do anything for us. Because, and if, Tutuwaa, if you vote for a party that will not develop you, if you vote for a party that will rather seek to your retrogression, who are you? If someone makes a
statement, that is the NPP's assessment of the NDC's.
So did he give the basis for that statement? Yes, he did. So if someone picks it, the headline, fails to even read the story, and goes ahead to say that, oh, because Napo said that, then he doesn't know how to communicate.
So it
is a convincing argument that if someone does not seek your interest, it will not develop you. There's no reason to vote for such a person.
Okay. Are you, by extension, apportioning blames on the media to an extent?
I am not.
Okay.
I am not. I'll be the last person to apportion blame to the media. I've been within the space. And these days, well, it is interesting because the media business is now more of being in business than seeking the interest of the state. Unfortunately, that's the reality. If you put out a story on the internet, you are looking at more likes and the eyeballs. It is not a story that supposedly it is in the interest of the state. So most media houses are rather looking at the exciting stories, the stories that will draw the eyeballs. So that is why you also find businesses, politicians creating their own platform to tell their stories instead of relying on the social media or the mainstream media, because no matter what you say, they rather will want to bring out a headline that will draw attention.
Okay. So in this context, I want to ask you again, do you think the media has falsely represented your candidates?
I am not to assess the media.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to get into assessing the media. But I am saying that Dr. Prempeh has said better things rather than what others will want us to believe. And I've indicated it on this show this evening, that he has been speaking for hours. And some people think that a headline out of all the things he said, hours, 4 or 5 hours in a day, a 5 seconds comment must be the basis of judging what he's saying. I am saying that that is not accurate. If you go out there, the chiefs he is meeting, the community members he's engaging with are listening to the things he's saying, and they know that, okay, so this is a gentleman who saw to the implementation of the free SHS policy. This is a gentleman who has ensured that now what you worry about does not include Dumso. Giving him the opportunity, he will work. He's now telling us that he will promote businesses, he will create employment. Then there's a reason to believe him, and you should not fall for, where I was for him, he's not saying anything. That's exactly not the case.
Okay.
Unless you do not know him, unless you've not paid attention to the things he's saying.
Okay, we'll still stay a bit on the media. As a former media person, would you say that
I'm still a media person, though.
Right, I see. I'm just finding out. I see. But as a media person, would you say that there is a deliberate attempt from the media to make your candidates look bad?
I wouldn't know the intentions of people.
But would you say that? I mean, pay your assessments.
I think that what he's been saying and what a section of the media seek to portray is not a true reflection of what he's been putting out there. As to whether or not the media is doing the right thing or not.
You'd rather not say.
I wouldn't say that. But I can tell you that the message, the bold solutions Dr. Bawumia has, which he's sharing with the people, the impression being created is not a reflection. So the one I discussed with you a few minutes ago, I'm so sure that if the media should tell the story that, okay, so there's a man who is saying that the people do not believe you, the people don't trust you, and the people don't seek to do things for you, so do not vote for them. In fact, that very story that came out, if I'm the editor, I could give it about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positive headlines out of it. But I'm telling you, the media houses are looking for the clicks. So they'll give it a headline to draw attention, unfortunately sometimes, against the reputation of the people involved.
Okay. Fiifi, I mean, since you are here, I actually want some clarity on something, but first we need to listen to this video. This audio, I beg your pardon.
And small scale for Atuabamu, I'm no winning was Buisia was winning city in Sia Awasa. And then also say MP before Tutuwaa Mama, over the children. And small scale for Atuabamu, I'm no winning was Buisia was winning city in Sia Awasa. And then also say MP before Tutuwaa Mama, over the children. Catch anything for say and throw a chat. And to the head, and to the head, and to the head. Yeah, to your body. That you are excavator, Bemano. Over for you, walk on, say, the Mayabua. Obia, you are walk. na krom wife de sika de bia dey ADD na nana no nya sika de bia dey ADD na krom nya sika de bia dey impuntu enye no kweda say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia eba obegu small scale mining.
You heard that, Fifi?
Yes, I did.
This was Dr. Prempeh in the Prestia.
It was actually in Bogoso, at the Bogoso car station.
Okay.
Yeah.
But why did you say this tape was doctored?
Okay, so I will share with you the original video. I won't share it just as a sound, but I'll share the original video with you. Then you understand, you appreciate what I'm talking about. So Dr. Prempeh spoke for 20 minutes. The 20 minutes he spoke talked about mining generally, talked about illegal mining, and he also talked about the fact that there are persons who are seeking to have an advantage, political advantage, during a conversation about mining. Then that's when he talks about the fact that if you go to the Wassa enclave, during election 2020, there are 7 seats within that enclave.
Okay.
5 of them were won by the NDC. The MPP won 2. The NDC won Amenfi East, Amenfi West, Amenfi Central, Prestia Honi Valley, and then Wassa East. The MPP only won Takwa Insayim, and then Wassa Mpoho. This is a typical mining community. The NDC during the 2020 elections waged a very serious campaign. You remember that was the time President Akufo-Addo has said that he will put his presidency on the line to fight illegal mining.
Right.
What the NDC did during the period was to say that, you know what, vote them out. If you vote them out, we will allow you to do the illegal mining. There's actually a videotape of the NDC Deputy Communications Officer seen with the former Chief Executive for Minerals Commission move at a Galamsey site, telling the people, if you vote for us, the gentleman here was in charge of Minerals Commission. When we win power, he shall be there, and he will ensure that you are able to do your business of illegal mining. It indeed had an effect on the people, and they voted against the MPP. So the point he was making is that if you give the MPP the opportunity to continue, we shall, however, use the geological survey. They will go out there, take geological data, indicate that within this enclave or within this space, you can actually mine, and it's not continue to do the try and error we've seen the miners do. A permit will be given to you, and you will be compelled to mine within the legal framework of our country, ensuring that you do not destroy our river bodies and then our forests.
Right.
Everyone will be allowed to mine. Your technical people here can take the 20 minutes video.
We actually have that audio, but because of time, we can't play.
The entire thing, yes. They will take the audio and they will know which part of the audio is important to you. So we'll pick this part. This part, in fact, the person was not even talking, so we'll just cut it, place another part. So there could be a part that is fixed into it, and that's it.
But
because I was on the stage. I was on the stage when he was talking. It was a Sunday afternoon. I was on the stage when he was talking. I have also listened to the original video that was taken by, and at no stage was he talking about seized, what you call excavators.
He didn't talk about releasing the seized excavators to...
The word seized was not even used in his entire speech.
But he did talk about excavators.
The excavators was talking about, was about the fact that you go and mine. And whereas the media want us to believe that he was talking about seized them, it never happened. So if someone is telling me, Fiifi Boafo, who listened to him, who has listened to the video, the full video, that this was what the gentleman said. And you know the sad bit of it. I have engaged some media people and asked, what is the source of this information you have and you are sharing? And to my shock, it is based on a TikTok video that is in circulation. And I ask myself, how did we get here? a TikTok video form the basis or the source of information for mainstream media, it is worrying. It is troubling, because I might probably be a bit rusty today, but then there's a lot more I can do with a video I pick from the internet and what I do with it and how I put it together.
Right.
So, honestly, I am telling you, if anybody says that Dr. Prempeh in Bogoso said seized excavators will be given to people to go and mine, he did not say that.
Okay.
He was very emphatic.
Okay.
Very emphatic
Fiifi,
in his statement.
for purposes of clarity.
Just to land, very emphatic that those who seek to go and destroy the environment, to mine in the water bodies, they should better move away, because that is not going to be encouraged or allowed to happen. How would such a person say that he's actually, because he, anyway, you go ahead with your question.
I mean, I just want us to make reference to the audio we just listened. I mean, you still insist that it's doctored, or Dr. Prempeh didn't say that. Which portion of the audio isn't coming from him?
Any audio that tells you that he said that seized excavators will be given to the people is not the true reflection of what he said in Bogos.
So your issue is with the fact that there's the word seized in the audio. Is that it?
Seized excavators given to people to go and work is not a statement he made.
Okay, but he said he's going to give the excavators to the miners.
Which excavators was he talking about?
He never mentioned that.
I am telling you that he talked about the fact that you'll be allowed to work. You'll be given, you work within the confines of the law. Is it not surprising to say in one breath that you will work within the confines of the law, and in the same breath also say that we'll encourage you by giving excavators that have been seized because we're doing the illegal thing?
Perhaps. Don't you think that it could be to please the guys in that region, just as the NDC did?
And just to make the point to Tutuwaa, if you know Dr. Prempeh, he's one person who is very strict.
Okay.
And I'm sure the people who have engaged him will tell you that he's a very strict gentleman who will not in any way encourage that. No way, it won't come from him.
But you agree that he spoke Twi in that audio?
I understand Twi very well.
And he said, I almost spoke Twi on here. and he said, yeah, demo machines be mamo. He didn't say that.
Yeah, demo machines be mamo. I didn't say yeah, demo machines.
He didn't say that.
No, he didn't say demo machines be mamo. Machines be no can once no. No, he did not say that.
I don't know. I don't have the clarity I want. Can we just take a listen one more time?
Smuggling is from Ghana.
And small bank walk on citizen, the Mayabua, Obia walk not from one for this, and for the you're too body. That you be a excavator, Bamano, Obia walk on citizen, the Mayabua.
Okay, so if I have the permission, yeah, and Tutu movie, yeah, you be a excavator, Beka command. That should straight away point something out to you. Yeah, and Tutu movie will not point guns to you. And the next thing you say is excavator. There should be some basis to even introduce the conversation of excavator. Which excavator are we talking about? Because I've told you, okay, let me even make the point. He was making reference to a conversation that had taken place on radio, where there were people suggesting that we should rather employ shoot to kill as a way of addressing illegal mining.
Okay.
And he was making the point that the people who came to you telling you that the MPP has not been fair to you, for which reason you should vote against them, which you did in 2000, are today telling you that go out there. If you go out there to mine, you should be shot. We will not do that. And then he's talking about the excavator. Which excavator is he talking about?
You tell me.
That's why I'm telling you that it doesn't even follow any sequence. And the fact that it does not follow any sequence should be a cause for you to question, really, is that what it is? And I'm telling you, that's not what it is.
But that's his voice. mentioning excavators.
Okay,
Fiifi.
so this is my voice.
Okay.
I can say in this part of our...
Or would you put the blame on AI? Would you say that AI has...
I do not know how it arrived at this, but then I can tell you that in this conversation, I'm talking about Dr. Prempeh and all the things we discussed. In the beginning of our conversation, I could also be talking about other things. Nothing stops us. That part of that initial conversation will find its way in the current conversation if you put a sound bite together. There must be a sequence of a conversation.
Right.
And I am pointing out to you that this does not follow any sequence. When you are talking about, we will not allow you, we will not shoot to kill you. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, there's a talk about your excavators will be... Which excavators are we talking about?
Okay, Fiifi, let's stay a bit on Galamsey. So what is Dr. Prempeh's position on illegal mining in the country? And I'm asking this because you are well aware that about 20,000 hectares of cocoa farms, you are in that sector, have been lost to illegal mining. What is his position on illegal mining?
So let me say that Dr. Prempeh on his own does not have any position. He speaks to the position of his boss, Dr. Bawumia, who is the
He's
flag
also
bearer.
an incoming mate. Is that it?
Yeah, he's a mate.
I see.
So he can at best he's only a mate. He doesn't have a steering wheel. Dr. Bawumia's position on mining, which is articulated in the MPP manifesto, is that yes, we should allow people to mine, be it large scale or small scale. With small scale, the position of Dr. Bawumia is this. We should, instead of allowing people to just go anywhere and everywhere, including cocoa you were talking about, and start mining, it should be guided by work done by the Geological Survey Department. Geologists establishing that this part of our country, you can mine there. When that happens, Dr. Bawumia's policy is that there's a bank that will be set up with the responsibility of funding mining activities.
Okay.
It shall provide funding to the people who are mining, and this will be done within the confines of the law. Mining in river bodies is not part of it. Illegal mining or taking the laws into your own hands, deciding to go anywhere at will to mine is not part of what Dr. Bawumia is talking about. So the position is that, yes, we should allow people to mine, but...
That is Bawumia's position. But
yes.
I mean, irrespective of the fact that he's the incoming mate, if Ghanaians decide to give the NPP the nod, he may have a position, don't you think so? I mean, personally.
I am very sure that within the newsroom of Starr FM, staff within the newsroom will have individual positions, but you can only work with the editorial policy.
Right.
And the position of the MPP, which is spearheaded by Dr. Bawumia as the leader of the party, is that. And indeed, Dr. Prempeh has recently spoken about the illegal mining.
Is it a binding national anti-Galamsey pact?
Yes.
He's asking the NDC to sign.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason why he's saying so is that in order to achieve the desired results as a people, there must be an understanding that all of us will respect. Because the challenge we face today is that an opposition political party would go, all that the young men who are involved, or the young women who are involved in illegal mining, all that they are doing, they only want people to support them and to give them some level of assurance. But that is the wrong thing. But it is a practice that when party in power is talking about stopping them, you will find elements within the opposition party going out there to say that we will allow you to mine. So if all of them are at a table, all of them are indicating that, yes, we will not stop you from mining, but you cannot do illegal mining, you cannot mine in the river bodies, and it is public, and we all know that that is their position. You cannot go back to the people and say that for you, you allow them to mine. Every government will seek to stay in power. So they will be a bit reluctant in how much they push the idea of protecting our river bodies. But when all parties within the political space are committing to it, then we can have an understanding that indeed we are going to work in protecting our river bodies. So yes, he does not support illegal mining. He does not support the destruction of our river bodies and very important asset in the name of mining. It must be done within the confines of the law.
So you are positive that, cocoa farmers will get some hope?
They must, because the commitment is that we should not destroy someone else's livelihood illegally at will without due compensation or reward or anything. No, that must not happen.
Fiifi, since you're the public affairs director...
Oh, I thought today I was here to talk about... I'm actually on leave now.
There's this popular saying that leave no be pension. You are still working, aren't you? But anyway, we know that cocoa smuggling is one of the issues that face our sector in the country. I believe that your organization has tried to find solutions to dealing with it. But why is your chief executive blaming Russian group Wagner for being involved in the smuggling of cocoa?
Well, I think that what the chief executive said was to draw attention to the fact that the smuggling that is ongoing.
Well, let's take a pause. I've
listened to that soundbite.
You don't want us to play that one?
I don't mind. I think it's to let me appreciate what he said.
Okay.
I don't mind you playing it, but then it is just to make the point that there are people who say that probably because of the price that is paid to the cocoa farmer or other reasons assigned to the smuggling, and he's only making the point that every trade has its rules.
Right.
And if you sidestep the rules set aside, then you are creating a problem. So at the recent World Cocoa Foundation conference, one of the things that industry players agreed to work with was the fact that we are to ensure that people do not profit from the contribution made into the production of cocoa undeservedly. Because Cocoa Board will spend on research into cocoa. They will see to the production of the seedlings. They will provide extension service. They provide inputs. And then ensure that the cocoa is produced, the beans. In fact, even the flower inducers and the fertilizers, Cocoa Board provides them. These persons only will come in, take advantage, and go where they wish to go and sell it. When that is encouraged, the buyers are actually finding a way of suppressing production, because what will happen is that Cocoa Board will not have the needed resources. And if you do not have the needed resources, what happens is that next time around, you cannot motivate or incentivize the farmers to produce.
Right.
So if anyone is involved in the smuggling or motivating people to smuggle, then the person is working against the interest of the cocoa industry. And that's the position the World Cocoa Foundation took, that no, there must be a reason to stop it. So if anyone is involved in that, then that person, attention must be drawn to the fact that you are working against the interest of the cocoa industry. Because it's not just Cocoa Board interest you are fighting against. If Cocoa Board is unable or is not in a position to resource the farmers to produce, what will happen is that the farmers' income will be low. Cocoa Board will not be there to protect and provide for the farmers, and then the buyers and the entire chocolate industry will suffer as a result of that. So if someone is doing something wrong, the person must be called out, and then attention must be drawn to the fact that this is something that ought to be addressed.
Okay, I would have loved for us to have an extensive conversation on the back of that. But let's do elections now. And we have seen a poll from Global Info Analytics that says that John Dramani Mahama leads with 53%. And also a recent report by Daily Guide attributed to a Eugene research team associated with the Director of Research at the Presidency says that these elections will be neck to neck. Are you ready for a runoff?
Well, it is not for me to say whether you are ready for a runoff or not.
But you are part of the party.
What I look forward to is a victory for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Okay.
The decision is a decision by the voters. The voters will determine whether Dr. Bawumia wins first round or Dr. Bawumia will win after a second round.
Okay.
That will be the decision of the voters. But whatever the voters decide, it is for us to work with it. But before we get there, there's still a long way to go. I am very much aware that everyone within the media space, like yourself, Tutuwaa, you are hearing the stories 4 months ago, 6 months ago, when people told us that Dr. Bawumia could not even go out there to campaign. He has no message to sell. Today, those same people are being jittery. The same people have now resorted to insults and to abusing other people. You only resort to insult when there's a reason for you to resort to insult. There's still time to go. Dr. Bawumia is out there. He's campaigning. He's selling his bold solution to the people. His running mates, Dr. Prempeh, is out there. He's campaigning. Mrs. Samira Bawumia is out there. She's campaigning. Mrs. Opoku Prempeh is out there. She's campaigning.
And that was actually quite unexpected, you know.
The party, I'll come back to that. The party executives are out there. The parliamentary candidates are out there. They are campaigning. So if you think that you sit in the comfort of your room and say that, oh, well, it's a runoff or it's going to be neck to neck, we are ready for anything. But we shall campaign and let the people appreciate that the better alternative in this election is to go with the MPP, because the track record shows that the MPP will deliver better than the NDC will offer Ghanaians.
We are wrapping up, unfortunately, but there are people that say that NAPO doesn't do too much to the tickets of the NPP, especially how NPP has always followed a certain tribal or ethnic trajectory. We always need that Ashanti representative. People say that NAPO's representation doesn't do the magic. What do you have to say to those people?
Well, I do not think that it's always the Ashanti. Of course, so in 1992, the MPP did not present an Ashanti. 96, Kufuor was an Ashanti to 2008. In 2008, Nana Akufo-Addo is not an Ashanti. 2012 up to 2016, there was no Ashanti on the ticket of the MPP. There's only an Ashanti coming in with NAPO. People who are saying that, I've also been in the media space, and sometimes when you hear things being said on radio by people, you hear a policy being formulated by a state institution or a body, and this has gone through a rigorous debate, an assessment, evaluation, and someone picks a newspaper headline without even reading the story, and the person is professing a better solution to what has gone into it. If you go out there with NAPO, and the people who connect with him, the people who have lived in Ghana, experience the competences and the capabilities of NAPO, talking about the fact that this is a go-getter, this is someone I can trust to deliver results to me. And someone is telling you, oh, it doesn't add anything to the table. What is Ghanaians? What are we looking for as Ghanaians?
I mean,
Ghanaians are looking for people to come and solve the problems. We all admit that the world is going through trying times. You need people, when you give them the responsibility, they shall work to deliver results to you. NAPO, who can tell us in this country that NAPO given the opportunity to work has failed? Okay. He has not failed.
I understand.
And there is every reason to give NAPO opportunity to serve, because it brings to the table competence and delivery.
So you believe he woos Ashanti voters?
NAPO is wooing voters beyond Ashanti region.
Okay.
Because every home in this country, every community in this country has felt the delivery of NAPO. Every community. Walk with NAPO on the streets of Mehame, Maabang, Accra, or anywhere, and you hear people say, oh, this is the guy who delivered free SHS. And I know, given the opportunity, he will deliver.
He'll do better.
So, of course, the fact that he's an Ashanti, you go to places where people say, oh, and all that, you are Kufuor's nephew, so Kufuor did you do same. It goes beyond that.
Okay.
What the people really talk about is the fact that we know your competences, your track record is available to serve as a testimonial for you.
Okay. I believe you witnessed what happened across the country today, where the NDC is pressing home their demands for a forensic audit to be conducted in the voters' register. What is your position, or what is your candidate's position on that? He still doesn't have a position.
I have not spoken to him today, and I do not know what his position is on the matter.
But it is a fight worth for by the NDC, isn't it?
Well, as a political party, who is Napo to tell the NDC what they are supposed to do? They are his competitors. So he is not the person to tell them, oh, you my competitor, henceforth, do this, don't do that. They are at liberty to do that. The fact that they believe it is in their interest, they have to feel free to do so. Fiifi Boafo, if you ask me my personal view, I could share them with you.
Okay.
But what is the value of my position to the NDC on this matter? I have heard people, we've had informal conversation. Of course, we have friends who are NDC, we have friends within professional circles who say that it's a campaign trick. There are those who say that, well, it's an exercise to energize the base of the NDC. Recently, the NDC did something. Rep your party colours. It did not give them the necessary traction they were looking for. Be under the umbrella. It did not give them the necessary traction they were looking for. The NDC as a political party must do something to energize the base, to get people going, because you have few months to the elections.
Okay.
There must be a reason to energize the base of the party. Demonstration is one of the things you can do to energize the base. Is that what the NDC is doing? I do not know. But then I can tell you that what I have heard the Electoral Commission say is that the concerns they are raising has been addressed. So, why addressing demonstration? Who am I to go and stop them? They are at liberty to do so.
Fiifi, unfortunately, we are out of time, but I would like to find out from you, when next will your candidates be, and what message is he telling Ghanaians? You have the final words, actually.
So, Napo will be in Ashanti region later part of the week.
Okay.
From there, we'll be in Western North. Napo is sharing the bold solutions of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia's bold solution is that, yes, things are not all rosy, but there is a blueprint that would ensure that we are better off than where we are today.
Right.
He's sharing to the public that going back to the days where Dumso was our problem, going back to the days where getting a chalk to write was a problem, going back to the days where we were told that if you want to have power supply, stop charging your mobile phones. Going back to the days of saying that we cannot give teachers a nursing trainee allowance. And if you do that, you cannot employ people. And today, you cannot train more people. More people are being trained. Going back to those days is not the alternative. And the alternative is very scary.
Absolutely.
And we must not go there
Absolutely. Again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been engaging Fiifi Boafo. He's a spokesperson for Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. And that wraps up Campaign Trail on the broadcast.